Yo, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from TravelingGuitarist.com. Almost mixed up the websites there. Today I'm going to talk to you about guitar pickups and whether or not they go bad. Now, right away, I'm going to say that I'm not really an expert on this topic. However, I did reach out to a few people who know a little bit more than me. So, they were able to shine a little more light on the issue. So I'm just going to kind of sum it up right now and say that, a guitar's pickups, it's usually made out of magnets, wiring, and they come inside like a plastic casing. So typically speaking, they're usually not able to go bad, so to speak. However, parts of it may deteriorate over time, including the wiring, the solder joints, the plastic, the casing. But for the most part, a guitar's pickup should last decades. And, in some cases, people will have guitars from like the 1940s or the 1950s and they still work totally fine. And I actually reached out to Fender. I emailed the guy. He's actually answered a few of my questions now. And I'll read to you what he said to me. He said, when I asked him if they went bad, for lack of a better term, he said, pickups don't go bad per se. There are guitars from the 1940s and the 50s where the pickup still functions perfectly. They can age and go microphonic, however. This happens when some shrinkage happens within the pickup construction itself, causing the pickup to function more like an actual microphone due to gaps between the magnets and the coil. Some may lose some of their magnetic power over the years, but for the most part, they should hang in there unless they suffer some type of trauma or other obvious damage. So, as you can see, it's usually not something that happens. Like pickups don't really, due to the way that they're built, they don't really go bad because, it's a magnet. And as I wrote about in the article here, magnets, according to first4magnets.com, their website says that, a neodymium, I don't know if that's how you say it, but a neodymium magnet loses around 5% of its magnetism every 100 years. So, like 100 years, that's a lifetime right there. So you certainly don't have to worry about the magnet dying out, that's for sure. But let's talk about some of the things that can cause them to be faulty. One of those is that the solder joints may become brittle over time, in addition to degrading insulation. So like the insulation that's around the wires and stuff. Sometimes the wires can have a kink in it that finally becomes compromised and it wears out, or it can become severed. Like a pickup, the insulation can break down and, short out the coils, being wound improperly or having damage to the insulation in some way. What else? Stray pieces of metal getting lodged in the coil. I can't really see this happening, but this is what a lot of people on the Seymour Duncan forum said. They said that the lacquer insulation on the magnet wire can flake off in a couple of spots, and then it touches another piece of metal, and then it shorts out as a consequence. And in addition to that, there's the issue of exposing your guitar, your pickups to a really powerful magnet. This is one of those things that's probably not going to happen either unless you're, a machinist. Like if you're a car mechanic or a machinist, you might have access to a big enough magnet, a powerful enough magnet where when you expose your pickups to it, you actually like strip away the magnetism of the pickups, because apparently that's what magnets can do. Like if you put a really powerful magnet to another magnet, you can actually like destroy the weaker magnet with it, which is kind of interesting. Another thing that can happen is that if you expose your guitar to moisture and water and humidity, like this is a really common thing that people have to say, but there was an AC/DC documentary a few years ago, and the technician responsible for all of Angus Young's guitars, he said that, his instrument would typically need new pickups every once in a while on account of the fact that he would sweat so much on stage, and his sweat would like actually get in the pickups and short them out. Obviously that's probably not going to happen to you unless you're Angus Young and you're on stage and you're sweating profusely every night on the guitar. But for the most part, you shouldn't run into that issue. I guess another thing that can happen is if you live in an extremely humid environment, you're at an increased chance of oxidation, which is when the metal is kind of exposed to humidity and oxygen, causes like that process which causes rust. I guess it could cause corrosion of the magnets. But in conclusion, this isn't really something that people should be worrying about. Pickups don't really go bad, like just the way that they're made. It's not really possible. There's not enough components for them to go bad. It's just wiring, some solder joints, and like in magnets. That's basically what they are. Um, so it's not something that you should be worrying about too much. Now, obviously, maybe a lot of people, maybe they do have issues, but that's usually going to be a consequence of some kind of, as I said before, faulty wiring or soldering, or maybe exposing it to a magnet, or moisture or water, humidity or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you got something out of it. Like I always say, if you're having issues with your guitar, man, just take it to a luthier. It's honestly worth the money. They're going to be able to tell you exactly what's wrong, and they're going to be able to fix it right away. So just take it to one of them. You won't regret it. All right. I'll see you in the next video.